Now we will begin by looking at the justified cash flow, or justified price to cash flow multiple. I had written justified cash flow. Please kindly note that this should be justified price to cash flow multiple. So we're saying justified price to cash flow multiple. Yeah. Now, and looking at the justified price to cash flow multiple, what you need to know is that this is based on a discounting value, based on the free cash flow to equity valuation. So the formula for getting justified price to cash flow multiple is given as FCFE 1 plus G over R minus G. You're saying justified, it is based on a discounted cash flow model there. So we're saying the FCFE is the free cash flow to equity, free cash flow to equity, and G is the growth rate, right there, and then R is the required return. There. So now, having looked at the justified price to cash flow multiple, we look at the justified dividend yield. Justified dividend yield. There. Now, calculating the justified dividend yield is just given as justified D to P. I'll just put it like this: justified D to P. And we can say it's just R minus G over R minus G over 1 plus G, like that. So where R is the required return, G is the growth rate, and yeah, this is just the growth rate, like that. So that is how we get the justified dividend yield. Let's see if we can be able to look at an example for that, so that we can be able to reinforce our understanding. A company has a required return of 14%. So we're saying in this case we have R being given as 14% there, with a long-term earning growth rate of 12%. Yes, 12%. G, 12%. That's pretty high there. Calculate the justified dividend yield for the firm. The justified dividend yield, we have been given R and you've been given G. We're saying we have R, which is 0.14 minus 0.12 over 1 plus 0.12. How much do we get there? We have 0.14 minus 0.12 divided by 1.12. 0.0178. 0.0179. Let's say 179. Rounded off to say 4 decimal places, like that. So that is the justified dividend yield. Having looked at the justified dividend yield, we move on and look at the predicted PE. Now, the predicted PE is how analysts should try to predict the forecasted, or have a forecasted value of price to earnings ratio. How does that happen? You must use a regression model to try and estimate the PE ratio based on various inputs. You try and identify the factors that affect PE and try to model that, so that you can be able to get a regression equation. So, see that we're looking at predicted P/E, price earnings ratio. So we can say the PE ratio, the P/E ratio can be estimated based on the inputs stroke factors that affect the PE multiple. So we can be able to demonstrate how we can calculate the PE multiple, and we are going to now look at an example that is going to highlight that. An analyst is valuing a private utility with a dividend payout ratio of 0.5, a beta of 0.95, and an expected earnings growth rate of 0.06. A regression on other public utilities produces the following regression equation. So the regression equation, you can be able to see it over there. And since you have the 6.75, those are constants, then you have 4 multiplied by dividend payout ratio, 12.35 times the growth rate, and 0.5 times the beta. Those are the factors that affect the PE ratio, saying dividend payout ratio, the growth rate, and also the beta there. The firm's PE ratio is 12. Calculate the predicted PE on the basis of the values of the explanatory variables for the company, and determine whether the stock is over or underpriced. Now, another key factor that you need to also consider, or the factor that is going to affect an equation or regression equation, the regression equation should be in the form of y is equals to b naught plus b1x1 plus b2x2 plus b3x3 plus an error term over there, depending on the number of independent variables. So x1, x2, and x3, so x1 to x3, like that, these are independent variables. They're independent. They are not influenced by any other factors. Then we are seeing the B0, B1, B2, B3 represents the sensitivities. So B0 to, rather B0 represents the intercept, the y-intercept. So I can write that again. This is the y-intercept. There, and then B1 to B3 factor sensitivity. Factor sensitivity. So Y now represents the dependent variable. There. So these ones, X1, X2, and X3 are the ones that influence Y. You can be able to see that equation there. We can see the predicted PE is influenced by the dividend payout ratio, by the growth rate, and also by the beta there. E is an error term. What is not explained by these 3 independent variables will then be explained by an error term over there. So what you've not included in the equation over here will be captured in that error term component there. So now let's go directly and try to answer the question. We have been given an equation there. So we've been given a predicted PE. P stroke E is given as, we have 6.75 plus 4 multiplied by dividend payout ratio, like that, plus 12.35, then we open the brackets like that, plus 12.35 multiplied by the growth rate, then plus, or rather minus 0.5 times beta, like that. So all we just need to do is just try and slot in the values into the equation of Y. So you have the dividend payout ratio there, and we try and identify what is not being provided. So we're saying is equals to 6.75 plus, open the brackets, 4 multiplied by, how much is the dividend payout ratio? We've been given the dividend payout ratio as 5, like that. Then plus 12.35 multiplied by what? Multiplied by the growth rate. The growth rate given to us is 6%. I can see 0.06 there. Then minus 0.5 multiplied by the component of beta, and we have 0.95. So how much do we get there? This is a minus sign right there. So we have now 6.75 plus, open the brackets, 4 times 5 plus, open the brackets, and 12.35 multiplied by 0.06 plus, open the bracket, rather minus 0. Minus, open the bracket, 0.5 multiplied by 0.95. We have 27.016. 27.016 there. So this is a multiple. So we are saying it has to be 27.016 times there. So now we've been told to try and determine whether it is overvalued or undervalued there. So we can be able to clearly see that the PE is greater than the predicted PE. The one that is already been given. We are seeing the 12. Rather, the actual PE we've been given ratio is 12 there, and I think I might have done probably an error there. This could not be a value that is being given, because we are saying the dividend payout ratio should be in form of a percentage there. So let me just recheck that again and see whether we've actually gotten the correct answer. So we have 6.75. And we are saying the dividend payout ratio is how much? Let me just recheck again the inputs. The dividend payout ratio, yes, I thought so, because this seems to be very high. We are saying this should be 0.5 there. Let me check if every other input is correct. We have got the 12.35 times 0.06 and then 0.95. I think every other thing is correct. So we just change this. Just a small error, don't worry about that. So we have 6.75 plus, open the brackets, 4 multiplied by 0.5, then we plus, open the brackets, 12.35 multiplied by 0.06 there, plus, open the brackets, rather minus 0. Open the brackets, 0.5 times 0.95, like that, close the brackets, and we are saying we have 9.016 times there. I think that looks at least much more realistic. So let's see whether it is undervalued or overpriced over here. We are saying, and we are comparing the 12 times which we've been given there. We've been given the firm's PE ratio is 12 and the predicted PE versus 9.016. So we can be able to deduce and say that the shares, or rather the actual PE being greater than the predicted PE should yield, that should mean that it is overpriced, and the stock is overpriced over there. So this is greater than the 9.016 there. Now we move on and look at benchmarks.